Hi, Book Besties! Today marks the beginning that we're going to be finally deep diving into the whole Empyrean Fourth Wing series. We're talking about everything related to Fourth Wing, and we're going to be breaking it down like a battle strategy. Welcome to Battle Brief, guys! Alright, to start off, let's talk about Violet Sorrengail. Our main character, our protagonist. Small, frail, and a chronic injury that's just wrapped in a sarcastic armor, Violet Sorrengail was actually not supposed to be a writer, ever. She was trained her whole life to become a scribe, which is another quadrant of Basgiath. We will talk about it later. But she trained her whole entire life to be a scribe, a reader, someone deep in knowledge, and that's what they value most of all everything. Thinking of you, Ravenclaws. But her mother and the universe decided, I have other plans for you, child. You're not going to do this. So she became a writer. What sets Violet apart isn't her strength, but it's her mind. She's clever, strategic, and observant to a terrifying degree. And when she finally joined the Writer's Quadrant and passed the parapet, even beforehand, her sister Mira was explaining to her mother that Violet's gonna die. This is not the life for her. She's literally gonna die on her first day. She's not even gonna make it past the parapet, which is a gigantic walkway over a cliff that if you fall, to get to be a writer, and if you fall, you're dead. You're just dead. Basically, you are risking your entire life for the chance to write a dragon, and even still, it's not guaranteed. So these kids, and everyone's giving literally their everything. So Violet is literally giving her life to become a writer, even though she wasn't trained to be one. And even though every single person in the Writer's Quadrant, they were all telling her, like, you're not gonna make it, you're gonna die, you're fragile, you're weak, you'll last maybe another 2 hours, and that's it. But the best part about her is she said, screw you, I'm doing what I want, and I'm going to get better at this, and I'm going to survive. So she's defying all odds in ways that genuinely she wasn't born for. And even through all of the trials and errors that she had to go through for everything, what seemed impossible actually happened for her. Threshing happens, you bond your dragon, and not only does she bond to one of the most powerful dragons on the continent, she bonds to two. That doesn't happen. Her first dragon, Ternanok, or Terran as we love to call him, is our grumpy boy. Now, something I'm going to bring up throughout this whole series is the names of dragons and what they mean, and they're all derived from Scottish Gaelic, you know what I mean. Terran's name literally means thunder, which is very fascinating because Violet, when she bonded to him and eventually her signet manifested, her power is the form of lightning. Very fitting. Keep that in mind when I talk about other dragons later on. But we love Terran. He's a big black dragon. He's one of the oldest dragons that we've heard of. They literally call him a legend in the books. He's been in the Great Wars. He has had a previous writer, Naolin. We will talk about him a whole other time. His story is very important. Naolin basically died in one of the Great Wars, but his sacrifice is huge because Naolin sacrificed himself for Brennan Sorrengail, which is Violet's older brother. All we know so far in the story is Brennan is dead due to a battle, and so is Violet's father. We do not know his name yet, he has not been given, but he is also dead due to the died of a heart attack, or heart failure, if some people want to say that. And we believe that is due to Brennan dying. Basically, he died of a broken heart, which is so sad. You lose your brother and then your dad's like, I can't do this no more. I'm out. So just imagine what Violet had to go through growing up. Oh, I forgot to mention, her mother is the general of the entire Basgiath War College. She's in charge. She's the head kahuna. And she's tough as nails. I've got to find the exact page, but, oh, here it is. Chapter 15, page 177. We know that Terran chose Violet for a very important reason. Mind you, being the biggest, strongest dragon ever to the most frail, fragile, broken human you've probably ever met in your life. Terran tells Violet, quote, I know exactly who and what you are, Violet Sorrengail. Who and what? Who and what? I should also mention that Terran is a black morningstar tail dragon. Black dragons are also extremely rare. They do not hatch very often. He's a very pompous dragon. He is like, but she's bonded to two dragons, not just Terran. She's also bonded to Andarna. Andarna Nurum, I'm also gonna butcher her name. These Scottish names, y'all, are killing me. She's a golden baby dragon, but she's a feather tail. Usually that means they're adolescents, they're still babies, we're talking younger than a teenager. Literally a child. Fascinating about Ndarna's name is it means second honor. She also bonds to Violet, so she's giving Violet a second honor. But part of me thinks that Andarna has a second honor that she's supposed to fulfill. Mind you, I keep bringing up that people never bond with two dragons, but we need to reel in the importance that dragons do not follow the laws of humans at all. Dragons have their own law, their own history, their own moral code. Everything is their own. And mentioned throughout the series, you do not have the right to talk to a dragon this way, and you can't call a dragon, like stuff like that. Dragons are far beyond superior than humans, including writers. It doesn't matter if you're a bonded writer or not. The dragon is still more important than you. Not only is Violet shattering traditions, but she's also rewriting their dragon laws. At least not for dragons, but in the way that regular humans view them. So this girl is just shattering things left. I love it. She's like pure chaos in one human, but she does it so unintentionally. So Violet's bonded to two dragons. She got her lightning signet from Taryn, but what about Andarna? What does Andarna give, even though she's still a baby and an adolescent? Since she is a baby dragon, I assumed throughout the story that there's not gonna be a gift. She's still growing. She needs to develop herself as a dragon, and then eventually she's going to gift Violet something as a signet, but that's kind of down the road. But we find out later in the book that there is a time where Violet wakes up in the middle of the night and there are cadets in her room trying to kill her because they want to bond to Taryn, thinking that if they get rid of her really quickly, they can still bond to Taryn. Taryn will think that they're worthy. So they're in the middle of the night trying to assassinate her. Long story short, time is stopped. Who stops the time? It's Andarna. Like, imagine lightning and time manipulation. You're unbeatable. You're literally unbeatable. The reason I bring up the attempted assassination attempt on her and Andarna freezes time is later on we get to a point, a couple pages later, after Xaden comes to rescue her. We'll get into him in a minute. The reason I bring up chapter 19, talking about Violet's life being in danger and having an assassination attempt, is later on at page 237, Tara and Darnan, Violet, and also Xaden and his dragon Sigale, they're all talking about the assassination attempt and trying to discuss what's happening to Violet and Taryn and Andarna's gift. So specifically looking at, if you go to page 237 in the paperback, this is why Feathertails don't bond, Taryn says. Let her explain Sigale urges, blah, blah, blah. And Darnick goes on. Feathertails shouldn't bond because they can accidentally gift their powers to humans. And Darnick continues. Dragons can't channel, not really, until we're big, but we're all born with something special. Violet then responds, like a signet? Sigale, no, a signet is a combination of our power with your own ability to channel. It reflects who you are at the core of your being. Hence why it's like the sorting hat, but for powers. Together, I think the three of them represent something very new to the Empyrean universe. The storm, the lightning, and then something special. Yes, Andarna has time manipulation, but as we get further into the story, she loses that ability. It's a very short-lived signet that Violet can only harness a couple times. So what really is Andarna gifting her? Before I continue on with the rest of our beloved characters, I want to point out something about Violet's past, why she's as small, frail, and has a lot of physical chronic illness, and why I think that's very, very important in the story. Here's my working theory, and then I'll give you my proof. Violet is a magical conduit for either divine or corrupt magic. Think about it. Her unique bond, her ability to channel in such a powerful form. Lightning has major massive surges, and her ability to survive that after every strike that she does. Violet Sorrengail is not just our main character, she's a walking prophecy. What that prophecy is, I can't tell you because we haven't been opened up to it, Rebecca. But I think there's something so much bigger about herself than we were talking about. Erin, what the hell are you talking about? Let me explain. Go back to the first chapter of Fourth Wing, page 17. Get your book, kids. This is when Violet is just being told by her mother, you're not becoming a scribe, you're becoming a writer. Suck it up and deal with it. Mom walks towards us, her polished black boots gleaming in the mage lights that flicker from the stones. She picks up by the end of my lawn braids, scoffs at the section just above my shoulders where the brown strands start to lose their warmth of color and slowly fade to a steely metallic silver by the ends, and then drops it. Quote, Pale skin, pale eyes, pale hair. Her gaze siphons every ounce of my confidence down to the marrow in my bones. It's like that fever stole all your coloring along with your strength. Grief flashes throughout her eyes and her brows furrows. I told him not to keep you in that library. Obviously talking about Violet's father. We find out later that Lilith, Violet's mom, was extremely sick when she was pregnant with Violet, fever. And when obviously Violet was born, it apparently affected her so much, it gave her this chronic illness, and it literally affected the way that she physically looked. She's very pale, she's very thin, and even the ends of her brown hair are, there's no color. It naturally lost its color, and it's pure silver. It's not gray, it's not white, it's silver. That's extremely important to know the difference. Was it just a fever? This is the stuff that keeps me up at night, y'all. Xaden Ryerson. He is wing leader of 4th Wing, which is a quadrant section in Basgiath, the son of the executed rebel leader Fen Ryerson, who led the Tirish Rebellion, huge part of the story. He is a living, breathing paradox in Basgiath, just like Violet. He was a boy forced into Basgiath Ward College after the slaughtering of his family from Navarre, but instead of breaking and dying very quickly, he rose to the freaking top. He's wing leader, top of his year, chosen for being the best at literally everything. Literally the definition of, I will burn this entire kingdom down just to make sure my people are safe kind of guy. But even throughout his loyalty, he's got such complicated relationships with quite a few people. I mean, this man's like an onion. Peel back one layer, you got, boom, daddy issues, betrayal, trauma. And then there's more where that came from. This guy's got the skills, the leadership, and a permanent seat into Hot People That Could Kill Me Club. Sigale, who we've mentioned before, is a blue dagger tail. Sigale's name means shadow. Xaden's signet is shadow wielding. You see where I'm going with the name and the powers? I'm telling you, there is something there. Even though it's in plain, it's not. It's not. But don't make any mistakes like it's mere theatrics of what he does. He's not just wielding shadows, he embodies them. Xaden Ryerson is the main top Mark One, as they are called. Marked Ones are the children of the people who have rebelled against the king. They're marked as literally a tattoo, usually on their arm, can kind of go up to their neck. It could be on their chest. There are some who have it on their back. Depends on each person, it's a very unique place. But anyone who has a marked rebellion relic is known for being a child of a rebel. You know, them damn rebels. Let's talk about Riddick. The walking serotonin boost with abandonment issues that no one is absolutely addressing. I am 100% more in love with this man than I am with Xaden, which is saying a lot. Riddick is a second-year writer who has the type of vibe that's like, I've seen some shit, but I'm gonna hide everything with a huge sarcastic armor. He rolls up on the page with his best friend Imogen, who genuinely could snap Violet like a twig, and immediately adopts Violet into their little murder trio. And he's not just the comic relief. He's strategic, observant, and very strangely protective of people who honestly don't realize that they need a lot of protecting, but he's always got eyes on their back. Don't underestimate the comic relief too. They're usually the one that's saving the hero at the end of the books anyway. Riddick is bonded to Atrum, who is a brown sword-tailed dragon. In the Scottish Gaelic, Atrum means light, as in not heavy. But Riddick's signet is ice, not air. Odd, right? Now let's talk about Imogen, resident kick-your-ass writer, but a secret softie, of course. Imogen is a second-year writer and is also a part of Xaden's Rebellion Relic group. One of her parents was a part of the Tirish Rebellion. Imogen is so much more than that angry sidekick. She's clearly been entrusted with high-level knowledge from Xaden because he trusts her so much. Imogen is really good at seeing the bigger picture, and she's 100% willing to draw blood for it. Imogen's dragon, Glain, is an orange dagger tail, and Glain in Gaelic means pure or clean. Knowing that, Imogen's signet is memory erasing, recent memory erasing. What does that have to do with pure and clean? Garrick! No one talks enough about Garrick. Garrick is Xaden's right-hand man, right up there with his rebellion relic and mischievous nature. He's competent, quiet, and gives off the I've seen some shit energy. Garrick is Xaden's right-hand man, and that means something because Xaden doesn't trust anybody with the major trust issues that boy has. He's deadly with a blade, unbothered by drama, and so calm in the chaos. Garrick doesn't speak too much throughout the series, but when he does, it's very important knowledge that he's either passing along, whether he's guiding other cadets and writers, or he's helping out his fellow Marked Ones. He's one of the very few people who tell Violet the truth without sugarcoating anything, which Violet really respects about him. Garrick's dragon is Craw. Crow. I'm gonna put it up so you can read it. Definitely butchering the name 100%. He has a brown scorpion tail, and his name means physical and emotional pain, which has me asking lots of questions. What? But mind you, Garrett's signet is air wielding. Has nothing to do about pain projection or any way, shape, or form physical or emotional. It's air wielding. Again, the name is not matching up with the writer's signets in some cases, and it's not making sense. Moving on to Bodhi, our beloved Bodhi. Bodhi walks into a scene and you immediately know that he's gonna crack some jokes at you, but has a dagger hidden in his boot. He's also Xaden's cousin and another one of the marked ones. Details are quite light in Fourth Wing when it comes to Bodhi, but there are a few things that we do know for sure. Bodhi survived a whole year at Basgaeth, hence why he's a second year. He's very trusted by Xaden, especially being his cousin. And he has the kind of vibe that's like, I've been to therapy twice and it didn't work either time. Bodhi's dragon is Kur, which is a green dragon, tail unknown, sadly for now. Kur's name means to place, which is fitting because Bodhi's signet is counter-signeting, which means if a signet is launched at him, a power you're fighting back and forth, he can literally counter that signet and direct it back to you. It fits. So why aren't the others? Now my favorite cinnamon roll in combat boots, Sawyer. He's one of Violet's squad mates that she joins in the first year. He's extremely tactical and so emotionally supportive and available for everybody. He's like, can I help you with your trauma and your homework? He's the guy that'll ask you how you're feeling, but also run straight into the fire to help his friend in the middle of war. This man is emotionally available in a murder school. We must protect him at all costs. Sawyer's dragon is named Sleek, which is a red swordtail, and Sleek means to slice. Sawyer's signet is metallology. Or, for you Avatar fans, metal bending. Toph would be so proud. Now, the ex-bestie turned complication, Dain Atos. Dain is Violet's longtime childhood friend. They grew up together through their whole life, especially because his father and her mother are both in the military and work side by side quite often, so they're very good friends. But Dain turned into Violet's best friend into I know what's best for you microaggression throughout her whole year at Basgaeth. Quite honestly, he got annoying very quickly. Dain thinks what he's doing is protecting Violet, but what he's actually doing is just undermining her abilities at every turn and stunting her growth in every way and claiming that it's love. That ain't love, Dain. That ain't love. Violet finally comes to a realization of what Dain is actually trying to be for her and do for her. It's one of the most satisfying moments in the book because she's so over his shit. And she lets him know. It's about time because Dain was not taking a no for an answer. Dain in Fourth Wing is what happens when good intentions means a superiority complex. Do better, my man, do better. Dain's dragon is Kath, which is a red swordtail. Dain's signet is memory reading, specifically recent memories. Not the best secret keeper if you ask me. Now on to the brains with the receipts. Jesinia. Jesinia is a scribe and one of Violet's oldest friends with the energy of I have every single fact to kill you and I will. She's got sass, brains, and so many receipts for all the drama. When Violet starts to question everything, Jesinia is the person she goes to show her all the proof. Never underestimate a girl with a library access and a little bit of rage. Mira Sorrengail. We've talked about her briefly, but now we're gonna really dive into her. Mira is Violet's big sister, and she's a definition of I had to raise my siblings, so I have control issues now. She's fierce, loyal, but constantly yelling in a loving way, but constantly. She's a very decorative writer and 100% a force of nature to be taken, just like her mother. Her dragon is Teen, which is a green clubtail, and that name means fire. But Mira's signet is wards or shielding, not fire. Violet doesn't just have Mira, but she also has Brennan Sorrengail, her eldest brother. Brennan Sorrengail was presumed dead. Keyword was. Throughout the entirety of the Fourth Wing book, Brennan has been this off-page, mysterious man who fought a lot in the Tirish Rebellion. We don't really know too much about him, but he died. And then Taryn's old previous writer, Neolin, tried to save him, but couldn't. But we come to find out at the very end of this book that Brennan is alive. And on top of it, Xaden knew and didn't tell Violet. But we're not gonna go into that, we'll dive into that a different time. Because that's a whole nother trauma pack I don't have time to unpack right now. Brennan is literally that past that just came back into the future and was like, I'm ready to rewrite history, let's do something about it. I know we cried. I know we were all sobbing because What? Even more interesting, Brennan's dragon, Marb, is an orange dagger tail. And Marb in Gaelic means death. But it gets more interesting. Brennan's signet is a mender, which is basically a healer times 10. He can literally mend bones. Menders are incredibly rare signets. They're not often that they are in writers. So Brennan was a very powerful mender, but his dragon's name means death. That'd be fascinating. And if Brennan's signet is mending, that is literally the exact opposite of what death means. He's breathing life. He's giving life back to people. Why does his dragon's name mean death? Let's talk about Liam. I can't. Oh my God. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. He is the unofficial emotional support character for everyone in Fourth Wing. He was the best friend that Violet didn't know that she needed. The brother in arms that we would all die for. Except he died for us first. I'm sorry. Liam is one of the many marked ones and a really close friend of Xaden's. So close that they literally grew up in the same home together, so they're very much like brothers. He volunteers to guard Violet due to Xaden's orders. In doing so, proceeds to become one of her best friends, her bodyguard, and her emotional support. In doing so, proceeds to become one of her best friends, her bodyguards, and her emotional anchor. He's patient, he's gentle, he's kind, he's also tough as nails. Don't mess with him on the mat, he will literally kill you. And he's one of the very few people who sees through Violet's trauma, but doesn't try to hold her down from it, but build her up and encourage her more. And their friendship, pure, healing, utterly doomed. As they all are. D is Liam's red dagger tail. But D means ice in Gaelic, even though his signet is farsight. Again, things aren't making sense, are they? And then of course, in the end, Liam didn't just break our hearts, he shattered them. But of course, Violet has another best friend we have to discuss, Rhiannon. Rhiannon is one of those friends that makes you feel like you've known her for literally your entire life. And she's the good kind of chaos. She's loyal, fierce, protective, sarcastic, and has a deadly throw. She's the first real friend that Violet makes of her own accord, and their bond truly unshakable. Iconic duo, if you will. Rhiannon is a fellow first year alongside Violet, but she proves that she's not even just there to survive Basgiath, she's here to dominate it. She trains hard, supports Violet's endeavors, and not only does she throw hands, but she also throws shade, and very well. Kind of get the feeling that she's been underestimated her whole life growing up, and now she's absolutely not holding back. Rhiannon doesn't coddle Violet. She challenges her. She believes in her. She fights for her. She's pushing her to her limit and beyond to make her better. And most importantly, she never tries to change Violet. Unlike some people, Rhiannon 100% is the future of Basgiath. She's the friend that Violet needed, and she's who this war college needs too. She's the general in the making. Rhiannon's dragon is a green dagger tail named Fyrg, and Fyrg means anger. Rhiannon's definitely got anger energy. Rhiannon's signet is retrieving items. Doesn't really make sense with the whole anger thing, but we'll just ignore that. And finally, we have to touch on, of course, our resident Basgiath bully, Jack Barlow. Literally the name Jack has changed for me forever. He's got a hatred for Violet that makes sense, but is so unexplainable at the exact same time. One of the main reasons why he hates her is he wanted to bond to Taryn after learning about them in Battle Brief, knowing that he was the most powerful dragon, and then coming to find out, oh, your nemesis is bonded to the most powerful dragon ever, and you kind of got second pick, yeah, you're gonna be kind of mad. So mad so much that you're gonna want to kill them. Jack did bond, and her name is Bade. She's an orange scorpion tail dragon, and her name means herd, which again doesn't make sense when you look at Jack's signet, which is pain projection. Well, how exactly does magic work in this world though? In Fourth Wing, magic isn't just something that you can read off of a dusty old bookshelf or study with a wizard and cast Avada Kedavra whenever you want to. No, it's none of those. It's raw, it's primal, and it comes from one source: dragons. More specifically, their magical reserves, which link to their chosen rider once they bond. You get a dragon, you bond, and bam, you're connected to their power instinctively by an animal who doesn't really care about your emotional availability or what's going on in that head. Sucks, right? And through these magic reserves is you get signets, your powers. Signets are that unique magical ability that you're gifted with by a dragon, but they're shaped by the writer's personality, emotional baggage, and the needs that they have. probably a little repressed rage as well, but we won't talk about it. Again, therapy is not really common at Basgiath War College. Think Hogwarts House means psychological evaluation means literal weaponization. But signets don't even come with a training manual, not even from your own dragon. You have to train. It's trial and error, day by day. You might accidentally kill somebody. You might accidentally kill or hurt yourself. No safety net, no magic council, just you, your trust, yourself, and a little bit of trial error, and hopefully you know how to aim. Oh, and if your signet is dangerous, or in some cases outlawed, you may be forced into isolation a lot, or worse, death. As Basgiath loves to remind us, magic is a privilege, not a right. So obviously we've talked about Navarre and Basgiath War College in the capital of Navarre, Basgiath. What else is out there? We have number one, the Barrens. The Barrens are a ruined, dry, desert-covered peninsula located at the southeastern tip of the continent beyond Krovla. The Barrens are where we hear a lot about these mythical creatures called Venin. And honestly, the Barrens aren't even inhabited. They're barren for a reason. There's a reason it's called that. Then we have Promiel. Promiel is located right in the middle between the Barrens and Navarre. Promiel is the exact opposite of the Barrens. It's lush, it's very green, has a lot of mountains with gems and jewels. They also have a lot of crystallizing gems in a lot of caves that are helped to use amplifies a lot smaller magics that both Griffin riders and Dragon riders use. We will get into Griffin riders another day. And then of course there's Navarre. It's the largest kingdom that there is on the continent, and it outstretches the majority of the map. So at Basgiath War College, there are 4 different categories that people can join to serve as somewhat in like the military aspect. Again, think Hogwarts House, but war. We have, of course, number 1, the Riders Quadrant. Those in the Riders Quadrant are trained to fight on Dragonback. They must prove themselves physically and mentally, as well as be selected by a dragon for a lifelong bond. We've discussed this. This is the most dangerous quadrant that students can enter. Failing this quadrant means certainly death. Duh, war, we get it. Moving on, the Scribe Quadrant, what Violet almost was. It is the duty of the scribes not only to study and master the past, but to relay and record the present. Scribes provide accurate depictions of the front lines, reliable information, and most importantly, various details to document history for the good of future generations. That is important. We of course have third, the Healer's Quadrant. Healer's Quadrant candidates do not have magic, relying instead on traditional tinctures and medical training to heal the best they can and use surgeons for serious injuries. And most serious of those injuries being people who are menders and who can do more than just basic surgeons can. And then finally, we have the Infantry Quadrant. The majority of the conscripts join the Infantry Quadrant and train in areas such as survival, land navigation, and working with other quadrants. The Infantry Quadrant is the biggest quadrant at Basgiath with over 1,000 cadets. Mind you, Riders Quadrant is probably going to have less than 200. Okay, cool. Class isn't almost over, but we got at least, I think, the boring stuff out of the way. I swear, Navarre has the most anxiety-inducing security system I have ever heard of. Some countries have, the Great Wall. Fourth, we said, let's go with energy domes that rely on soul energy and pray to the gods that they don't crack. Wards are ancient protective barriers that keep bad things out. It's supposedly impenetrable, totally secure, no faltering, no waving, not at all. Why would you think that? Fun fact, absolutely nobody knows how the wards work. Not even me. Would be good to note though, on page 441 of Fourth Wing, there is a section that I've highlighted saying, because the only thing that kills venin is the very thing powering our wards. Now we need to talk about the Venin. Who are they? What are they? What's going on? And why is this such a big deal? The Venin are introduced first in the book when Mira and Violet are talking about the mythology books that their father used to raise them on as children, this book being called The Fables of the Baron. The first time that we hear about this is on page 21. In these fables, Venins are wielders of stolen magic. Instead of bonding to a dragon, they're taken directly from the raw source, the earth. And it's not just a different kind of power, they literally view it and word it as an abomination. And the consequences? Destruction, rot, and death. But it's a damn good thing they're fiction, right? Chapter 35 of Fourth Wing is when officially the truth is broken. We've literally found out everything. Violet's feeling betrayed by everybody, including her dragons, Xaden, all of the people, which I don't blame her. This is when we officially meet the Griffin Flyers for the first time. We find out they've been in league with Xaden and the Rebellion Relic, the Marked Ones, providing them daggers to protect them against venom. Violet remembers from her father telling her that scribes have always held all the power, more so than the writers and even the generals. Violet realized the scribes changed history and made venom seem fictional, not fact. But why would they do that when they're such a dangerous threat and they're literally draining the earth and everybody on it? Daddy Thorngill was right. Them scribes did have all the power. So much power that they rewrote history for 500 years. So if venom are so dangerous, if they're such the big kahuna bad guy, why the silence? Enter the wards. We know that these protective barriers are ancient, they're woven with deep power. I mean, literally, like I've mentioned, we don't know. We really don't know how they work, but they're failing. What's with these wards? Why are these wards failing? What's going on? I have a theory. Let me break it down for you. Could it be that the wards weren't simply meant to defend against outside threats, but to specifically to contain or repel, not rebel, Erin, my goodness, can you speak? Repel venom energy. The relics, which are sent to anchor a writer's bond with their dragon and also manifest and protect their signet. What if they're just personal magical tools, like a ward, like a shield? I mean, if they're tied to your dragon and dragons are ancient, there's gotta be some ancient power hidden in them, right? The fact that both the relics and wards are part of a larger protective infrastructure suggests a deeper magical history. There has to be. Dragons are ancient, the relics are ancient, the wards are ancient. I mean, we don't even know how to freaking use them. Do the dragons even know? I don't know. So there's gotta be something bigger tied to them that Rebecca's not opening up about. And if they're part of an ancient power of protection, if the wards or a relic is either supposed to contain or protect from the venom, does that mean the venom are more than what they seem? There's a deeper connection with them. What's more powerful than venom? What's more powerful? The dragon? Okay, cool. Well, dragons aren't killing the venom, so in fact, they've just kind of been sitting still the last couple of years, just letting them be. So is there something more powerful than venom? Gods. Gods are more powerful. And if from drawing from the earth is forbidden, if it's an abomination, but if to a bonded writer and with a dragon coming from the same source, it's just channeled through a dragon, it's not an abomination. What set those boundaries? Who set those boundaries? I don't think just normal humans did. No, we're on a celestial scale now. Not only in Fourth Wing do we have magic and dragons and all that fun stuff, but we have gods. Navarre is a polytheistic society, and there's multiple gods that they all believe in. Various temples for various gods are mentioned previously throughout the books in places, especially like Orisha and Shantara, and even I think one or two in Navarre. As a human would visit the temple of your god of your choosing to appease them for whatever your needs are. We do find out later from Taryn that dragons do not worship the gods of humans. Begs to differ of number one, are they even real? Number two, are the dragons superior than the gods, or are they real but they've got some beef going on? There are 6 gods in total that we know for sure. Malik is mentioned the most in the writer's quadrant. When a cadet dies, they always call out their names at the end, and at the very end they say, may we commend their souls to Malik. And we have Dune, the goddess of strength and war. She's the second most common god that we hear about. We have Zanal, the god of luck. We have Amari, she's the queen of the gods. Then we have Loel, who is the goddess of love, and then Hedon, the god of wisdom. It's a working theory that I'm still reading the books to figure out and decipher, so I won't dive too much deep into it, but I am truly convinced about a couple things. The gods are connected to the venom and to the dragons. In some way, shape, or form, we're going to find out what. Obviously, dragons don't worship gods at all. I think dragons believe that they are God. They are their own gods. You know, they're that superior. So number one, is there a beef? Is there some type of connection? Do they know that either or does exist? Obviously, do the gods even exist? Are they just figments of these people's imaginations that they've made up? Also due to the fact that venom taking from the land is such an abomination. I mean, if who decided that was an abomination? It had to be the gods. Couldn't have been us. If dragons are so superior than the humans, we couldn't have made that call. Even the dragons say they're an abomination. So maybe it was the dragons that called it and it wasn't the gods. What if the dragons are the gods, just in a different form? Again, we don't know. Working theory. Let me know your thoughts. From chapter 34 all the way to the end of the book is when everything freaking happens. It's always the last 100 pages. After being sent on the cadet's final mission of war games to graduate your first year, Violet's squad reaches Athben and they are told, as on a note that was left for them, to survive if they can, coming to find out that the Venin are near. Well, of course, in true hero fashion, you come to realize everyone is going to go help the village that is currently being attacked by the Venin, and everyone there is dying. It's battle on battle, dragons are fighting. The Venin have these thing called wyvern, which is basically dragons, but only with 2 legs, and they look disgusting. Even again, the dragons call them an abomination. There's battle, lightnings are shooting, shadows are flying. I'm not even gonna get into Liam because I don't want to sob on camera, but we commend to Malik. Our favorite boy is gone. It's just destruction here on out. They're saving all the villagers that they can, but at this point, what's gonna happen? Violet gets knocked out by a poison. Next chapter we get into, she wakes up. Xaden's there next to her. She's feeling betrayed. He's hurt her, trying to make up for things. She can't believe that Venin are real this whole time. Her whole life, her family's been lying to her. Her country's been lying to her. Everything's just a lie. And then the plot twist of the century happens. A knock on her door, and who else stands there but her dead brother, Brennan, even though he's not dead. You get the "Welcome to the Revolution, Violet," and the book literally ends there. You remember in the beginning when I mentioned that I think Violet is a part of a bigger prophecy? The snippet on page chapter 37, but it was the 3rd brother who commanded the sky to surrender its greatest power, who finally vanquished his jealous sibling at a great and terrible price. From The Origin, The Fables of the Baron. The 3rd brother, Violet is the 3rd of her 3 siblings. We know that. She literally commands the sky. That's obvious. And then jealous sibling is what's getting to me. I've heard from multiple theories that it could be Brennan and Mira. I'm really diving into this theory a lot more with my Iron Flame breakdown because that book shares so much more information, I believe, about this prophecy than Fourth Wing does. So we get such a very tiny snippet of what Rebecca is hinting at here. It could be Mira or Brennan for multiple reasons, but in my opinion, more Brennan than Mira. I think Mira is too much of a not only protective older sister, but she wants the best for Violet and has always strived to give Violet the world. I don't think it's Mira. Brennan doesn't sit right with me in any way. Also, could this somewhat be related to Venin? I mean, if you think about it, everyone who turns Venin obviously reaches for it intentionally. They obviously want power that they can't aspire to do without having that, I guess. Wouldn't that be a jealous sibling? We did it. Next videos is gonna be 3 times even more juicier because we're finally hitting Iron Flame. I feel like there's only so much you can touch up on Fourth Wing because until you have the context of these books, you don't fully understand it. I'm so tired, but I loved doing that. That was so much fun. Can't wait to see you all next time.